Hello and welcome in this new video brought to you by Hdesigntutorials.com. In this video, I'll tell you how I've created my new CGI project that I've recently published on my YouTube channel. Also, we will take a look behind the scenes, as well we'll open up some project files to show you how some scenes were created. During this video, I'll talk a little bit about how the music was produced, and we will take a look inside the music project and listen to each track separately. Also, we'll firstly take a look at how the 3D scenes were created, as well we'll open up some projects to explain things a little bit more. Also, I'll tell you the steps that I went through to film myself on a green screen background and the challenges that I've encountered during building my DIY green screen. I'll tell you what workflow I went through during the post-production and how I did the video compositing and what softwares I've used during the entire process of post-production. Before we continue our making of video, if you haven't watched yet my full CGI music video, then please stop this video and find the link in the description to watch the full project and get an idea, then come back to complete this video. So let's start by explaining how I've produced the song of my CGI project and talking a little bit about the workflow I went through to implement the music production. Probably the first thing many music producers can start with is the topic of the song or the lyrics, while other producers may start with the melody. Personally, I often start by searching for high-quality sounds in the first place and picking out good sounds to compose the rhythm or the groove for my song, especially since I always have the idea of the song already on my mind, which is helping me a lot in defining what kind of sounds and samples I'm looking for, and choosing the appropriate sounds and instruments for the musical theme I want to create, and also the feeling that I want to transmit to the listener through my music production. So after finding good quality sounds and instruments, I've started composing the rhythm of my song. Then after that, I've started writing the lyrics on the same beat. Then I've started composing the melody for the song, then doing the arrangement for the entire song before finally recording and editing my voice in the mix. Nash jidaal contains and embodies two interrelated ideas. The main idea is the spread of evil and the submission to it, and the drift behind illusions and quakery that may negatively affect the human mind and its behavior. The second idea is the humiliating conflict between the devil and the human since the beginning of life, and how this conflict has caused much moral harm to the mankind. And the song as a whole aims to raise awareness and sensitize people to change the bad idea by the good one that suits human nature, and to search for a way to survive and love, and to find a new opportunity to get away from bad thoughts and stay away from evil. Nash jidaal is an epic rock song, and the whole song is a mixture of classical music and rock music. Let's deconstruct the song and have a listen to each track separately to have an idea of how the song was composed.
I've used Steinberg Cubase to create the entire music production. So first, let's listen to the intro section, then we will solo up each track to know how the intro was composed. Now let's move on to the verse section of the song to see how it was composed. As I've said earlier, what gives the song a classical character is the reliance on instruments such as strings, cellos, choirs, and brass sections. Let's listen to the cellos track. I've used La Scoring Contact Library to create this beautiful spiccato cellos. Let's add the kick drum. The percussive snares, the main snare, another percussion effect, and here I have a plucked bass along with an acoustic strings bass. And here in this track I have the bells along with some hi-hats and another snare percussion. Now let's move on to the final part of the verse that comes right before the chorus start. Here in the last part of the verse, I have a bass strings track, and a cellos track, a viola group, as well a violin group, and a false strings group. Let's hear it with the main spiccato cellos. And finally, I have two choir tracks for male and female. Now let's move on to the chorus section. In the chorus section, we have the main bass track, along with a sub-bass track, and we have the male choir track and the female choir track, the strings track, and an electric guitar, and here I have another strings track and another electric guitar as well. Here I have a plucked sound. Now let's solo up the vocals.
Over the things we're going through, still there's a chance for me and you.
And the harmonies, and have a listen.
Open your heart and you will see, still there's love for you and me. If you wanna survive, then here's the key to set you free. Set you free. Something we can do. Going through, still there's a chance for me and you to change that truth, change that truth. Open your heart and you will see, still there's love for you and me. If you wanna survive, then...
In the end of the song, I have this piano track, so let's listen to it.
Something we can do over the...
So this was a quick overview on the music project that was intended to give you an idea of how a song is made and how sounds and instruments are mixed to finally get a complete song. I hope you liked this chapter, and I hope it gives you some motivation and inspiration in creating your own music projects. before we can be able to design good 3D scenes, it's necessary to take advantage of the expertise of professionals who make this kind of films, and it's very important that we watch movies related to what we want to do, especially since there are many powerful movies that may help us to get inspired and learn the right ways to create 3D shots with high cinematic value. Personally, I learned many things just by watching movies like The Mummy and Avatar and many other great movies out there. And by watching those movies, I learned directing and how to animate the movements of my 3D camera and how to organize the events. And also I've gained some knowledge in the art of lighting and animation just by watching movies. And that's why I advise any beginner to watch CGI movies and learn from them. Let's take a look inside some 3D projects and explain a little bit how the shots were made.
I've used 3ds Max to create all the 3D scenes in my CGI project, and V-Ray was used for rendering and creating lightings. As an advice for anyone who wants to create realistic 3D scenes, I think 3ds Max and V-Ray are probably the best tools for creating realistic cinematics. In the first scene, for example, I've used fume effects along with the particle system available in 3ds Max to create the dust effect. And to create the sandy ground, I've used displacement maps along with bump maps and sand textures. For example, in the dancer scene it was a little bit challenging for me to create real-life movements and simulation for the skirt, the hair dread, and the helmet accessories for the dancer in order to get a realistic result. But frankly, the variety of tools available in 3ds Max helped me a lot in achieving what I wanted, and even if it was something difficult for me as a beginner in CGI, I was enjoying during working as I was very satisfied with the results, especially when I play back the rendered sequences on my computer screen. I've used the cloth modifier available in 3ds Max to simulate the skirt of the dancer, and I've used Mass Effects to simulate the hair dread and the accessories sticking to the dancer's helmet, and in the background I've used fume effects along with 3ds Max particle flow to create the fire. Then I've used V-Ray lights to light the entire scene. Now let's talk about how I've filmed myself in a green screen and what the challenges I've encountered to create my green screen background and what the stages I went through during post-production to finally put myself in a matte painted desert environment without spending hundreds of dollars to travel in a long trip to the real desert.
In order to avoid spending too much money in creating a low-budget music video, the best and cheapest solution that was available for me is using a green screen to put myself in any imaginary environment or background I want. But creating a DIY green screen itself can be challenging, especially because I wanted to prevent spending more money to borrow or buy lighting equipment to light an interior green screen studio. So, and for this reason, I decided to rely on the sunlight instead. And that was another challenge because putting the green screen outdoor can be somehow difficult because of the wind factor that can move the green screen fabric during filming, while noting that I didn't want to use paint to create a green screen studio because it would have cost me more than hanging a green screen fabric. So to solve my problems, I decided to build a wall to hang the green screen fabric, a wall that can be installed anywhere outdoor at the moment of filming, but also can be disassembled and removed after the completion of shootout. But meantime, I was looking for the cheapest materials possible to build this DIY wall, so the most convenient and the cheapest solution that was available for me at this time is to design a wall made of food boards and iron sources.
I've designed the wall in advance in 3ds Max in order to know the real size of each board of wood and to get an inclusive estimation of how much this wall will cost me and how much materials I will need to build the green screen wall. The only problem I had while using this wall is the heavy weight of wood, which makes it hard to move all the wood boards from one place to another, but also the heavy weight of wood gives the wall a good stabilization in front of the wind. But with the help of two friends of mine, we were able to install the wall easily, and it took us up to 48 minutes to completely install the wall. Now let me show you how I've filmed my green screen shots. I've been able to film my green screen shots with the help of a friend of mine who filmed me with a Sony a7S II and a Tamron 28 to 75mm lens and a motorized gimbal, and we've shot all the green screen footage on 4K resolution. Then after that, I've used Nuke Studio to remove the green background, and then I've used Adobe After Effects to make the garbage matte and cleaning up any noise in the background, as well adjusting the shadows, and so on until I got a clean, keyed out subject.
Now let's discover together how I've done my video compositing and how I've created my desert matte paintings, so let's take a look inside some projects.
I have created all my desert matte paintings inside Adobe Photoshop using different desert photos to compose the environments. Then I made the 3D camera tracking for the green screen shots in Adobe After Effects. Then I've used Video Copilot Element 3D plugin inside After Effects to project my matte painting elements before finally applying the necessary color corrections. Also inside After Effects, then adding atmospheric effects like dust and smoke to enhance the realism of my scenes a little bit more. Let's watch a quick show reel. In the final stage, I've used Adobe Premiere Pro to do my video editing and exporting my final project as a video file.
As a final word, I hope you enjoyed watching this making of video, even if it wasn't covering everything in detail, but I hope you discovered new things, and I hope this video was inspiring for every beginner in video production. And as you have seen, it wasn't easy for me to create this work, as it took me more than 1 year to complete. And I also would like to say it's really something great and amazing to test your capacities and put yourself in a challenge like this to finally come up with something good, something that will show your real values and your real mistakes, so that you can correct them in the future. Also, it can be a good opportunity for you to learn while creating, because honestly, I've learned many things during the different stages of creation of my project, and I think it was a good experience for me. Once more, thanks for watching, and please, if you have any questions, ideas or remarks, then please leave it in the comment section below. And if you like this video, then please don't forget to hit the like button, and please don't forget to subscribe to get notified each time we post new videos on the channel, as we may post more detailed tutorials in the upcoming days. So please stay connected with us by activating the notification bell, and see you next time in a new video brought to you by Hdesigntutorials.com.